So the next knot in illusion is anger. And those who are anger prone, they know this to be a very difficult obstacle to transcend. Of course, it is ingrained in body-mind identification, but it's much ingrained of the notion of self-importance and expectations from others. Many, many, many expectations. So anger, in the end, is a big addiction at the physical body level. A lot of reactions occur. So there is a physical addiction in experiencing anger. And at the level of the mind also, the need to experience anger. It's a constant need. So, like any addiction, it has to be regularly experienced. The reasons don't matter very much. The one who experiences anger is constantly being overcharged with these currents. With time, as you try more and more to separate yourself from these currents, you will start to see the nature of this anger. It's like there's nothing, you're feeling good, everything is nice, and in the beginning, there's always a justification for anger. But then, justifications will cease. You will not associate with them anymore. Then they will cease. But anger will continue. And you will experience this absence of anger. And then being taken by anger. Not wanting to go with it like a very strong wave on a beach that just drives you out. So anger is the same. It is a wave that prior to its appearance, everything is nice, normal. Then it comes and changes everything. And the more you work it, the more you will see its behavior, how it changes perception, how it changes everything. Usually it's not on this anger explosion that you can do something. It's prior to this. So anger is a defense mechanism. One for not allowing you to experience sadness and fragility. It is there so that you have a violent reaction in the demand of what you believe to be your rights, in receiving according to the level of expectations you demand. And usually anger is rooted in pride, and they work together. So it is much also ingrained in self-importance. So a high self-importance equals a high expectation from recognition from others. And if that recognition doesn't come in the volumes expected, anger comes. And even worse, if it comes in a way that disrespects, that's not even coming close to expectations, is actually the opposite. So this is a defense mechanism which is rooted in pride, like I said, and connected to low self-esteem. And low self-esteem, which is the fruit of body-mind identification with the characteristics of the body, with the characteristics of the mind, and assuming that these characteristics are responsible for your lack of happiness. So in a way, it is a mechanism for you to stay away from the beliefs this lack of love towards yourself. And you measure this with the results of your investments in circumstances in others. And usually, a person that suffers from anger has high levels of pride, and it is engaged in an investment of being the center of the world, the center of everything. So in a sense, everything is about that person. Whatever is happening, it's either respectful or disrespectful towards that person. It's not that others have problems, issues. It's about that person. It's always. And the majority of investments, they are more or less conditioned to expectations of recognition, of something that confirms your worth. So there's not a clean interaction with others, which is separated from the need of others giving a positive or even an excellent feedback of the interaction. And, of course, others are doing the same or concerned with other things. And the absence of others giving these expected and so much needed fruits arises these currents of anger, these explosions. So these people tend to sometimes, especially in spirituality, of course, they have the need to do everything correctly, and they want to see it this way. They don't see, or it's very difficult for them to see what they are doing incorrectly, and they tend to pinpoint others what they are doing incorrectly so that they are more, higher. But in a sense, it's about approval, others' approval, but it's a very bad way of getting approval. And this creates a lot of sadness. And this person who suffers from anger issues is normally, genuinely doing its level best. But you see, it's an addiction, first of all. It has become an addiction, and it has a life of its own. To transcend this, you have to look at what you call your faults and accept them as you try to overcome them, of course, but with acceptance. And you need to learn to accept others, to be compassionate towards others, to understand that what others are doing is a product of their limitation, the way that you are doing with your limitation. But this is difficult because those who suffer from anger, they don't tend to accept others, much less themselves. It doesn't seem to be the case, but it is. They are harsh on others, but they are even more harsh with themselves. So compassion, by the right understanding, because you may confuse this compassion in the sense that, oh, it's your weakness, I understand it. You're less, so that's what's possible to you. Not that kind. It's understanding that the other is doing in the same way that I'm doing because of the same limitation. And that whatever is causing me, apart from my addiction to anger, of course, whatever is causing me that strong reaction, It is something for sure that I'm still doing. I'm still having the same problem. And I fail to look at it because I'm not being able to to deal with it. And I'm not being able to deal with it because I cannot. If I did, how could my expectations be so high? So everything is a cycle. Everything is connected into this addiction. So understanding that whatever you're recognizing in others is just a product of their limitation, and if it is bothering me, I'm doing the same. I may not be seeing it, but I'm doing the same. Other circumstances, maybe not to that person, but to another person. Maybe not in those circumstances, but in the different ones. So that compassion is a compassion towards the other and towards yourself, and starts breaking those constructions, those mechanisms that have apparently a life of its own. And you must remember the state where you're at without anger, and as that current arises, you try to come out of it, not reacting with others, first of all, of course. If you cannot do more than that, doing that is a beginning. And getting out from that state, If there's intense identification, usually there is, using that compassion I was talking about to come out of it. In the case that when you reach that point which is just anger, there's not even a reason for it. You just try to come out, try to come out, try to come out. The longer it is there, and if you're involving yourself with it, with thoughts and all of that, you are bringing that vibration to yourself, keeping it there. And this will guarantee the next anger attacks and the next one and the next one. So anger is, first of all, an addiction at all levels. So it has to be treated as such. It's not a choice. It's not just a choice. First it was, then it gains a life of its own. And it's like you're being possessed by that. And everything changes, and it disappears, then it changes all again. It's not you, it's not yours. But it's rooted in there. So untying those knots is very important.